Of winning the running relay. MVP of the World Series, Darrell Porter. He's the acting captain of the Cardinals. Earlier, he introduced his teammates.
I'm Darrell Porter, captain of the world champion St. Louis Cardinals, and I'd like to introduce to you some of my teammates that you'll be seeing today on the Super Teams. First of all, we've got one of our starting pitchers, Mr. Bob Force. I don't think Bob's going to say anything. Next, we got George Hendricks. George is better known by the press as Silent George, and I'd like to ask old George a question. Okay, George, I understand. Next, we got Tom Herr. Tom's a second baseman on our ball club, and he's a great ball player. He's a young ball player, and he's a leader on our team. Tom, we hope you help us out down here. This is old Dane Orge, a good buddy of mine, and only one thing down here I hope to do, and I don't care about the Washington Redskins, but as long as I beat Dane Orge's time on the obstacle course, then everything will be okay.
We'll get along there.
This is old Jim Cott. Old Jim Cott. Sorry about that, bud, but the truth's the truth. And it's good to have you down here. What I wanted to know was you was going to be involved in the obstacle course, and we wondered what happened.
I got white man's disease. Couldn't go over the wall.
Well, okay, we can understand that, too. Here we got Willie McGee. Willie is a great young prospect on our ball club. He did a great job this year for us, and Willie can fly, and I know Willie's going to do a good job in the obstacle course for us. Will, it's good to have you down here, bud.
Good to be here.
Next, we got old Ken Oberfell, better known right now as Grizzly Adams. Grizzly, good to have you, bud.
Nice to be here, Darrell.
We got old Mike Ramsey next. Mike is known as the super sub on our ball club. He can do everything off the bench. He's a great ball player.
Hey, thanks, Darrell.
Next, we got old John Stupert. John, I don't know what to say about old John. He's a great pitcher. He's a young guy, and he's just going to be a phenomenal pitcher one of these days. John, hope you help us out down here.
Thanks, Captain.
Okay. There we go.
The obstacle course coming up. It's a lot of fun to watch. Not so much fun if you happen to be a superstar. Course, there'll be 6 heats, each heat matching 1 Cardinal, 1 Redskin, the lowest combined time of the 6-man teams to determine the winner. Earlier, Reggie Jackson gave us a tour of the course.
They've got their green monster in Fenway Park. Down here at Crandon Park, at the Super Teams, they've got a red and blue monster. The obstacle course, a test of strength, jumping, agility, and speed. They'll come off that wall, come through this tunnel, go as fast as they possibly can, and come to the monkey bars. Grab the first rung. Of course, grab the last one. If you don't, you're going to come up with a penalty. Then some speed and, of course, some agility here. Make sure you get all your feet through the tires. Maybe the football players will have an advantage there. But then some quickness required and some speed. They'll come to the water jump. They'll have to jump over this. Certain distance you have to go. If not, you'll wind up with a penalty. And, of course, I like when they come to the high bar. You'll see all different types of styles here. You'll see a hurdle, maybe a roll, maybe a tumble. And a lot of times, unbeknown to the contestant, he'll knock the bar off. From there, he'll go over the hurdles, doesn't matter if you knock them down, and across the finish line.
Penalties are 2 seconds for an error in the first 5 heats, and that is doubled in the final heat. Richard, Todd, now you've been over this before in Superstars competition. What's the toughest part of it?
Well, I think the hardest part would be the wall. Once you get over the wall, you've got the course licked.
All right, we'll watch in the first heat. Joe Theismann, he is familiar from previous Superstars competition with the course. The course, by the way, is changed here in Super Teams. Instead of having the blocking sled, they use the monkey bars. And here's Tommy Herr. He was just in the recently concluded men's Superstars, so he, too, is familiar. Wife Kim looking on, cheering for her husband and the Cardinals. The course is 95 yards long, and over the years we've watched some great names from the world of sport humbled thoroughly over these 95 yards. Good start. Here's your wall, Richard.
That wall is 12 feet high, and it really doesn't look that high unless you're up in front of you. You've got to get over the wall quickly to have a good time.
And Herr and Theismann came over right together. Now the monkey bars, and Theismann had trouble.
He's got to regress the bar where he fell off, or there'll be penalties involved.
And now through the tires, Theismann trying to make up time. The water jump, and then it'll be the high jump. Herr is over. Theismann knocked it off.
If he would have got over the high jump bar there without knocking it down, he would have had a much better time.
He sure would have. I think he was trying to make up too much time. He will be penalized at the high bar, and he will also be penalized at the monkey bars. Theismann's time, 33 30.10 with the penalty.
Gee whiz.
For Tommy Herr, his time 30.15, so he will win his heat. Let's go back to the high bars, Richard, and watch Theismann on the left.
All right, he's got to grab the first bar, which he does. Now he has a little trouble. Now he has to re-grasp it where he dropped off, which he doesn't.
Which he did not do. And then, of course, he got behind and trying to make up time, as we'll see in just a moment. He's pulling up on her at this point, but now he'll take off the high bar. He was just trying to go too fast.
Well, he's trying to make up a lot of time, and he's really not that tall, so he can't be that great of a hurdler.
So Joey Theismann loses 2.95 seconds to Tommy Herr. Reggie's with both of them.
Isn't that exciting to do?
Yeah, that's a lot of fun, I'll tell you. I wasn't too worried about the wall beforehand, but I got the rope caught between my legs going over that thing, or else I'd have got over it a little bit better. I kind of got my feet tangled up a little bit before the hurdle and fell down. It cost me a couple seconds, but other than that, I felt I had a pretty good run.
Joe, you've done the obstacle course before, but you had a lot of problems today. Were you trying to scramble away from somebody?
No, the only time I've done the obstacle course, we didn't have the monkey bars. You know, we've always had a blocking sled, and I guess I'm a little bit easier hitting people than I am trying to grab at things on top of me. I missed the bar, and that sort of set off my timing, and then I tried to make up for it going over the hurdle, going over the water jump, and then trying to take the bar on a hurdle type of a move instead of diving over it, because I had tried to catch Tommy, and fortunately he slipped and fell, or else it wouldn't even been that close.
So after the first heat, the Redskins are down by 2.95 seconds. Ready now for the second heat, and we should have some speed in this one. For the St. Louis Cardinals, it'll be infielder Mike Ramsey. He'll be running in the blue lane. They alternate lane assignment, so there can be no possible edge. There's Merrill Ramsey on hand to watch her husband's performance. And Charlie Brown, he should perform well here, Richard.
Charlie Brown should be very good. First of all, he's a wide receiver, so he's got great speed, great leaping ability, and plus his arms are so long. If he can get a good jump and grab the rope up, he should be able to get over the wall very quickly.
What a role he played in the Redskins' success this year.
Super player.
Ramsey's at the wall first. Oh, you called it. Those arms.
Look,
Charlie Brown. Mike Ramsey still having a problem getting over. Big lead now by Charlie Brown.
If he can just be under control, not make any mistakes, he has a good lead. He'll have a very good time.
Now through the tires. Charlie Brown being very deliberate. He does not want to pick up penalty seconds at the water jump.
Well, he clears that easy. He's a wide receiver. He can jump.
And he took it with the Western roll, and there's going to be penalty seconds for Mike Ramsey. Mike Ramsey is going to not only lose time to Charlie Brown on the running of the course, he's going to lose 2 seconds of penalties. Mike Ramsey penalized 2 seconds at the water jump. Let's take a look at it.
We see it here. Charlie's fixing to show his great leaping ability over the high jump bar. Look at the form and technique on that. In the background, Ramsey's trying to go to the water jump, barely touches the line. There's a penalty.
Across the air by Mike Ramsey, his total time, 33.64. Meanwhile, Charlie Brown whistled through the obstacle course. His time, 28.63. So the Redskins have turned it around. They now have a 2.06. 4 more heats to come. A little counseling for Alvin Garrett. We've concluded one event of the Super Teams competition here at Key Biscayne. The Redskins have won the running relay. They